Good morning, students. We were having a recap of the microeconomics chapter 1 and 2. We have studied about the what is economics and the different types of economics. Now we were studying about the problems that we face while studying economics, or can say the issues we need to solve while studying economics. The issues which we need to solve are what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. These are the three basic problems of microeconomics that we need to study and we need to understand. If we understand these three problems and if we are able to solve these three problems, then we can solve the microeconomic related issues of the economy. These are what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. And from here itself we come to know the basic concepts of microeconomics. First problem is what to produce. What to produce states us that what type of goods we need to produce. We need to think for the needs and requirements of the economy. That will tell us that what we need to produce. Just like either we need to produce wartime goods or we need to produce peacetime goods. We need to produce agricultural goods or we need to produce industrial goods. We need to produce consumer goods or we need to produce capital goods. All these depends on the requirement of the economy. Just like if we have a lot of rich people in our country who can expense more on consumer goods, we can produce consumer goods. If our country is developed, we have all type of industries in the country, then we can focus on consumer goods. If our country is not having much machines, many factories, and we were importing all the consumer goods from foreign countries, then we need to focus on capital goods industry so that we can produce all the machines in the country and then we can go for the production of consumer goods. The development of capital goods industries also gives job opportunities, so that is also helpful for us. If we have agricultural economy, it means if most of the people in our country are engaged in agricultural activities, then we need to produce agricultural goods. If we have a lot of people who are landless, who don't have land with them, then what we do? We don't have any other option by other than growing for producing the industrial goods. So if we have many agriculturalists, the farmers in our country, then we'll go for the agricultural goods. If our country is not agricultural country, then we will go for the industrial goods. So that is also can be seen by the capacities of your economy. Then if we require wartime goods, then we need to produce wartime goods. If we don't require wartime goods, if our relations are good with our neighboring countries, then we need to produce peacetime goods. So all these, the answer of this problem, what to produce, can be obtained by the study of all these. That what are the requirements of the economy and what are the things that will be beneficial for the economy to produce. We need to look for the requirement of our economy, and then only we can give the solution of this. Then the second problem, how to produce. it states that what way we use to produce. Either we produce by the labors or we produce by the machines. We need to look for the technique of production. That may be a labor intensive techniques in which we use labor very much, or it may be a capital intensive techniques in which we use machines. How to decide the technique? It depends on the population of the country and on the skill of your labor. If you have a big population in your country, you will be going for labor intensive techniques. If you have a small population in your country, you will be going for the capital intensive techniques. If you have skilled labor in your country, whether that is low but that is skillful, then you will go for labor intensive technique. If you have a lot of people in your country but they are not skillful, they can't work with machines, then they can't work for the production activity. They are engaged in agriculture or in other activities, and you have the lesser labor. Though the population is very high, but the labors are very less in number, then what you would do? You will be going with the capital intensive technique. So you need to think, if the country is rich, people are having a lot of job opportunities, they are earning as much they want, then you will be going with the capital intensive technique. If you have a lot of unemployment in your country, you need to give jobs to the people, then what would you do? You will be going with the labor intensive techniques. So these are the ways how you decide the techniques of production. Then the third question, for whom to produce? For whom to produce? It means for which section of society you are going to produce. It means whether you are producing for rich or you are producing for the poor. If you are producing for the rich people, you will produce consumer goods. If you are producing for the poor people, then you will be producing the things which are very much required for them. How to decide that for whom to produce? This can be decided first by the policies of the government. If your government is a socialist government, they will think more for the people, poor people, so the producers will produce more for poor. If your country is having a lot of poor people who earn their livelihood, who are working to earn only the livelihood, then you can't produce for rich people. If the country wants to produce for the export purpose, to send items to other countries, then you can produce for the rich people. So these are the problems and the solutions. Now the next concept is opportunity cost that we studied. Opportunity cost, what is the concept behind that? Is that on every source of production, we can use it in more than one ways. Just like I have a farm. On the farm, we can produce wheat, we can produce rice, we can produce maize, we can produce gram. We have all the options. It is not that in the way that the farm is used only for the production of wheat or rice or maize. All the crops can be produced. Suppose, yes, we can also produce sugarcane also. Now, if I produce wheat, I earn 10,000. If I produce rice, I earn 8,000. If I produce sugarcane, I earn 12,000. What is the best use? Best use is the use of sugarcane. If I grow sugarcane, I can earn 12,000. This is the best possible use of the resource what I am having, that is farm. But I can't grow sugarcane on whole of the farm. I'll be producing wheat also, rice also, because these are for my requirement and to sell as well. If I produce wheat on a part of land, if I would have grown the sugarcane, I would be earning 12,000. But when I am producing wheat, how much I am earning? 10,000. So how much is the difference? That is 2,000. 12,000 of the earning of sugarcane and 10,000 is earning of wheat. So the difference is 2,000. That is a loss for me if I produce wheat. If I produce wheat instead of sugarcane, I get a loss of 2,000. If I produce rice at the place of sugarcane, I get the loss of 4,000. This is not exactly the loss. This is the money which I could earn but I didn't earn. Why? Because I choose the other way to produce. So this is called the opportunity cost. It means this much amount I would have earned if I produce sugarcane, or this much amount I could have earned if I produce sugarcane. So, but I didn't get this much opportunity as I was having to earn, but I lost this opportunity because of the producing other items like wheat and rice. So this is called the opportunity cost, the opportunity of the amount what I have lost. So this is the concept of opportunity cost. We lose something in order to produce any other item, and that opportunity lost is called the opportunity cost. If we count opportunity cost per unit, then it will be called marginal opportunity cost. So this is all for the revision of chapter 1 and 2. If you want to study all these in detail, you should go through the older videos that we have sent you in the month of July. Now we will start the chapter 3 in the next video. Thank you.